Unfortunately, we're playing the Marcus Davenport Hits album once again.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are here and we're ready to talk Detroit Lions with you. Matt Derry with you on Locked On Lions on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today is Friday, September 19th into Saturday, September 20th, a free weekend for Lions fans because the team will be in Baltimore Monday night for a huge showdown with the Ravens, 1-1 Lions, 1-1 Ravens in Baltimore Monday Night Football on ESPN, on ABC. All the heavy hitters will be in Baltimore. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Lisa Salters, SVP, Stanford Steve. Let's go. Lions and Ravens on Monday Night Football. Thanks for making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Shout out to our everydayers that are out there that watch or listen to the podcast daily. I got to give some shout outs today. Let's do the business. My guy, Andy Dombrowski over at Alliance Catholic Credit Union, everydayer. Sarah Frazier, BAE Networks, everydayer. Danny Davidson, also at Alliance. Thank you for checking us out daily here on Locked On Lions, whether it's on our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. A couple of young kids I need to give a shout to. Odin and Luke Holmes. My girl and friend Caitlin Wells and her kids, Sawyer, Carson, Ellie, and Lena are awesome. And the Risk fam, my new BFF, Andrea, and her husband, James, Big Game James. Shout out to all of them. Locked On Lions today brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. We've got news on Marcus Davenport and his chest injury. We got to talk about the last time the Lions played in Baltimore against the Ravens. It was not pretty. I think a big key for this game on Monday night is going to be the right leg, right foot of Jake Bates. And we have a call of the day today. If you want to be our call of the day, please leave a voicemail at speakpipe.com/Derry, DERY podcast page. All right. No surprise. Here we are again. We are 2 games into the season. Last year, we were 2 games into the season when we talked about a season-ending injury for Marcus Davenport. I'm not going to sit here and play doctor. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I am some medical expert. All right. But we spoke ad nauseum this summer and this spring and this winter about how key Marcus Davenport is going to be for the Lions if they want to get a good pass rush and if they want to get to the quarterback and disrupt that quarterback, because Aiden Hutchinson, who is fantastic, cannot do it himself. And the Lions believed so much in Marcus Davenport that even after last year when he played 2 games and was lost for the season, because of all the injuries that he's had both in New Orleans and Minnesota, they gave him another 1-year deal. All right, which is fine. It's no risk on their part. And had faith in him that he could deliver and play. Game 1 against Green Bay, nobody played well. Game 2 against the Bears, Davenport had a few pressures, had a sack. And of course, after he sacked Caleb Williams, he was down on the field holding his shoulder. The Lions, in their injury report, and again, they have another injury report tomorrow, that they can do some designations and move some roster spots around on Sunday. But as of today, here on Friday, the Lions have listed Marcus Davenport as no practice for the first 2 days with what they're calling a chest injury. Dan Campbell says they've been getting a second opinion on Davenport and going through further testing. But the reporters spotted Marcus today in a sling. His arm is in a sling and he's got a chest injury. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe the arm being in a sling helps with the chest elevated. I'm no doctor. But what I do know is this. If he's out for another extended period of time, then we've got to just be done with it. We've got to be done with him. And this is nothing personal. He seems like a nice enough guy. When he's healthy, he's good. But this team might have made a massive mistake in not covering their bases here. I expect Al-Qadim Muhammad to start and play Monday night. I do not expect the Lions to tell us anything about Marcus Davenport, at least until next week. My guess is they're going to do second and third opinions, see if this is only a 2 to 3 week injury, a 4 to 5 week injury. But arm in a sling, saying it's a chest, not a shoulder. Originally, it sounded like a shoulder. You know, we talk. I'm guilty. I said, hey, they're re-signing Davenport, and let's hope he stays healthy. Because after Al-Qadim Muhammad on this depth chart, who will fill in, and I think he'll do a good job. He's had a good start to the year, but who else is left? Tyrus Wheat is a guy that made the final roster, was picked up from the Dallas Cowboys after cut down day and placed on the active roster, the 52-man roster. Of course, they've got, 16 or 53-man roster, 16 practice squatters. Pat O'Connor has played some edge rusher. He's more of an inside guy. Tyrus Wheat comes over from Dallas. I'm assuming that number 99, Wheat, will be active in time, will be active on Monday against the Ravens. There are other players in the practice squad. Look, here's the bottom line on this whole thing. It's just disappointing. And look, Marcus Davenport is not trying to get hurt. Marcus Davenport is not so fragile that he'll never play in the league again. But the bad luck with him just continues. And this team, and I know this is a famous quote that everybody says Brad Holmes says, which is, we're good. I think this team really relied upon him to be healthy and relied on him to be healthy, and he's not again. And come Monday night, whether it's difficult or not to get him down, whether it's difficult or not to chase him down, they must get pressure on Lamar Jackson. He's been an MVP, was an MVP candidate last year. Only Josh Allen beat him out for the award. And if you're relying on guys like Tyrus Wheat and Al-Qadim, Muhammad, who I like, don't get me wrong, but I think they were thinking that this was the year for Davenport to make it through the season. And it sucks. And I don't know who else is out there. All right. I don't think the Lions are going to be making some. Look, Zadarius Smith is gone. He's in Philly. Jadeveon Clowney, who I didn't think was a culture fit anyway, is in Dallas. I don't know what went down in talks with Zadarius Smith. I don't know if the Lions were turned off by him. I don't know if the structure of the contract was something that Philly was willing to do at $9 million for this year with a bunch of bonuses and incentives. And maybe the Lions were like, we're just not playing in that sandbox. To quote my friend Mike Valeni, I just, to be this thin at that spot now, if Davenport is lost for an extended period of time, and look, they can bring up guys from the practice squad and bring back Isaac Ukwu and bring back Nate Lynn and guys like that. But they're not on the roster right now. Asking them to play a big role is a stretch. I'm well aware they drafted Ahmed Hassanin in the 6th round. I wasn't sure if they thought he was just going to be a project. Then they had the injury settlement with him. They've got a handshake deal with him that when he's healthy, he'll come back. But he's a rookie that was a 6th round pick. So, I worry about pass rush. I always do, because I think when the Lions are engaged and in the face of the other team's quarterback, that's when they're at their best. Have they been a top sack, hurry, pressure team over the last few years outside of Aiden Hutchinson? No, not in terms of team numbers. When they struggled in the playoff game last year, it was because Jaden Daniels had a lot of time to throw. It wasn't that Jaden Daniels ran for 200 yards. We'll talk about the last time the Lions played the Ravens in 2023. Lamar Jackson threw for 357 yards. He only ran for 36. He was sacked 0 times in that game. Just sucks. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what kind of announcement they're going to make this weekend, if they make any. I know they're getting a couple of opinions on it. Started off as a shoulder, now it's a chest, but his arm's in a sling. So your guess is as good as mine on Marcus Davenport. But if there's a chance he never plays for the Lions again, I would say don't rule that out. All right, what did happen back in 2023? Why was that game so ugly when Detroit went to Baltimore? We will get into that, and hopefully the Lions correct that this time around. We'll do that coming up next right here on a Friday edition, everybody, of Locked On Lions. And Locked On Lions for this Friday edition is powered by DoorDash. It is almost the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. For the Detroit Lions, we know this from last week, Jared Goff delivered in a big way. 5 touchdown passes, near perfect quarterback rating, handled the offense with a proficiency that was so good and an efficiency, whatever word ends in ENCY. All right. Jared Goff was the guy. No hesitation, no delay, just like our friends at DoorDash. And if you've been watching week after week, his performance wasn't a fluke. He's been so good over the last few years. And hopefully Jared Goff is on a streak. And just like Goff delivered for the Lions, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You save every Saturday you order, stack it all up all season long, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday, keep the streak alive, fuel your game day. Only with DoorDash. Terms apply, promo period through November the 18th. And as we told you earlier, Locked On Lions is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. NFL season is here. Thank goodness. FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. All right. Fans love using FanDuel. Why? It fits however you like to bet. They got a same game parlay. Go for it. They got player props. Go for it. Or jump into live action as the game unfolds. Jump in live. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to your Sundays. Lions are 5.5-point underdogs. Kind of stayed there all week to the Ravens on FanDuel. If you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Great to have you with us on this Friday edition of Locked On Lions. Don't forget, Locked On Lions Squad Show. Check that out right here on our page and on our channel. Jake Riepma, Natalie Kerwin, and Bradford Banta do a fantastic job. We're going to get Brad back on the show, the former Lion, pretty soon. They'll be on live Monday night following the game. I will have a Monday post-game show as well. So when you see 2 podcasts in your feed, listen to them both. They're right there. But I will do a show. We will be with you, I promise. Late night Monday. Just refresh your feed. Please follow, subscribe. We've got 16,000 subscribers on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. We absolutely love that. So, and check us out also on TikTok and on our Locked On Lions Instagram page. All right. So it was a couple of years ago, as many of you might recall, the Detroit Lions went into Baltimore on October 22nd, 2023, and lost to the Ravens 38-6. We could sit here and talk about Lamar lighting them up for 357 yards and 3 touchdowns and having a passer rating of 155.8. We could talk about how it was 28-0 at the half because the Lions couldn't stop Gus Edwards, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, who had 2 touchdowns. We can talk about all of that. But the biggest key in that game back in 2023, 2 years ago, and the biggest key for the game this week is the Lions have to protect number 16. Jared Goff in that game 2 years ago threw for 284 yards. He also threw the ball 53 times. He was intercepted once. He had a passer rating of 68.4, which is buns. Okay. But he was sacked 5 times. 5 sacks. 2 by former Lion Kyle Van Noy, who's hurt and will not play this week. But if you can't protect number 16 this Monday night, it's going to be a long night. All right. Lions have had some clunker games under Dan Campbell, not that many, more in the first year in 2021 than anything else. But in 2023, when this football team won 12 football games, this was their worst game by far. They went into Baltimore and got smacked. The defense didn't show up. Lamar had all day to throw. He wasn't sacked. I know it's not just all about sacks, but if you don't protect number 16 in this game, and you can't keep him upright and running that offense, it's going to be a long day. So that's the biggest thing for me. All right. We remember that game. Jamison Williams went for a deep ball hit him in the face mask. The turnovers, they got blitzed in this game. Blitzed. But they got to protect the quarterback. And they did not protect him very well against Green Bay. He was hurried. He was rushed. He threw things. Saw a lot of zone in that game. Was checking down a lot because he just didn't have enough time. And this past Sunday, he wasn't touched. I mean, the Lions did such a great job against the Bears. The tackles were great. The interior of the offensive line, you could tell the communication was better. This is a different story. Monday night, MB&T Stadium, whatever they're calling it now, the bank. Time to do what you did last week, and that is give him time to operate. All right? Mike Green will be coming off the edge. You know he's got a little revenge on his mind. Lions passed on him twice. Van Noy being out definitely helps. Running the football definitely helps to set up the play-action passing game. But all the stuff that happened 2 years ago, none of it matters except the protection of this quarterback, and I believe that is the key, biggest key to this game this week. I'll give you another key, and I'll do a little segue here, as you can see on our YouTube channel as part of our rundown. I think Jake Bates is going to play a massive role in this game on Monday night. Ravens no longer have Justin Tucker, all right? Ravens have a rookie kicker. The Lions kicker, I think, can help win them this football game if there is a tight game. All right? You remember last year, Jake Bates in primetime, Sunday night at Houston, hit a 58-yarder to tie it, hit a 52-yarder to win it, 26-23. Jake Bates last year only missed 3 field goals and 3 extra points. And he was perfect, 4 out of 4 field goals, 1 out of 1 extra points in the playoff game. He missed a field goal, as we know, in Green Bay, but I think the Lions, for the first time playing Baltimore, we know that Justin Tucker twice has beaten the Lions with game-winning kicks, including the doink through that just was the worst luck of all time. But to end the losing streak against Baltimore and to beat them for the first time in 20 years, I see Jake Bates playing a big factor in this game. Now, if you have to settle for field goals against a Baltimore team that's averaging over 40 points a game the first 2 weeks, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. All right, Lions are going to have to get in the red zone and score touchdowns. But late in the game, like I said, similar to last year in Houston, where they needed 2 field goals late, 1 to tie, 1 to win, I like my chances with Jake Bates and how confident he's been and that he's done it before at this level. I know Houston is indoors. This is outdoors on grass. Lions are playing a lot of outdoor games this year, but I'm excited to see what Bates can do because I just think he's comfortable out there. We haven't even grabbed for the kicker list. It's buried, right? Because he's been so good. So I could see a scenario, and we talked about this yesterday with Kevin Ostreicher on our Thursday crossover, host of Locked On Ravens, that I think it could come down to a 33-32, 34-33, 1-point Lions win on the road on the leg of Mr. Bates. Look, we hope it's a blowout. We hope it doesn't come down to that. But if it does, I'm confident in him. Very confident in him. So, all right, let's do a little call of the day. Our man Chubbs, who's one of our everydayers, chimes in, and he's kind of taking some shots at the fans. Oh, Chubbs. We will do that coming up next, right here on Locked On Lions. And Locked On Lions, my friends, is brought to you by our friends at Square. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home, whether it's a local sports bar packed on game days, the coffee shop that knows your order by heart, or the corner deli that's been serving your community for decades. These are the places that bring people together. When neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives, right? With our friends at Square. All right. Look, what makes that local spot feel like home? It's the kind of place where you walk in and everyone knows your name. The staff are like family. They've been serving this community for years. And these local spots are what make their neighborhood feel like home. All right. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. And of course, we got great spots here in Southeast Michigan. You can go to square.com /go/LockedOnNFL to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square, see you in the neighborhood. All right, back on Locked On Lions, everybody. Don't forget Monday Night Football, Lions and Ravens. If you watched the Thursday night affair last night, Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins are 0-3. God, they're bad. I know they made it a game last night against Buffalo, but maybe this is why. And I'm not taking anything away from the Lions and the joint practices where they dominated the Dolphins. But my goodness, the Miami Dolphins are just awful. And there's talent there, which makes absolutely zero sense. Good news from the practice today. Jack Campbell, who's been nursing an ankle injury and did not practice on Thursday, did in fact practice today. So that is good news. Hopefully Campbell is healthy enough to go Monday night against the Ravens, but he was kicked late in the game by Brian Branch. Was limping around a little bit. Again, no practice on Wednesday, limited practice, or Thursday, no practice Thursday, limited practice here on Friday. All right, time for our call of the day. You want to be our call of the day? It is simple. Go to speakpipe.com/Derry, DERY podcast page. Let's hear from our guy, Chubbs.
What's up, D's? This you got Chubbs here. I just want to take a second and laugh. Just a little bit. I have no questions. Just want to laugh at the casuals. After 1 week. 1 week. It's casuals. That's all it is. It got to be just casuals. The fire Morton, the fire Campbell. What are we doing? What are we doing? After 1 week, D's, now look at us. A 50 burger on Benedict Johnson. Come on, fans. We got to do better. We got to do better. One Pride.
Oh, my guy Chubbs, man. He is just awesome. Appreciate all the everydayers and the regulars out there. It's a different time right now to be a sports fan. It is. And I don't blame whatever Chubbs is calling the casuals. Yes, 1 week against the Packers and everybody was freaking out because we've been waiting for the Lions season to start. All right. Preseason is what it is. I try to do the best I can on this podcast to keep you informed. But the real deal opener was such a stink bomb by the Lions that, yes, casuals, whatever, fan, they were angry. Last week, yes, putting up 50 on the Bears, you feel so much better. Now you're facing another very good team. And if the Lions were going to go to Baltimore and lose this week, win next week against the Browns at home and finish 2-2 in September, it's kind of what I thought they would do. Right. But in the moment now of social media and responding to everything so quickly, and everybody has a take, and you go on Twitter and you go on Blue Sky and you go on Facebook and you're on Instagram and TikTok, and there's so much information. It's all quick and it's fast. I text friends of mine with Lions news at 1:00 in the afternoon, or I hear from people at 6 or 7 after they got to work saying, "Hey, did you hear about this? Oh, you're 5 hours late. That's old news." So I get why Chubbs is saying what he's saying, but it's just a different time right now to be a sports fan. All right. I walked out of Comerica Park yesterday, and look, my boys, the Cleveland Guardians, opened up a can. this week against the Tigers, sweeping them. But just because we are only 3.5 back and back in this race doesn't mean that the Tigers just suck all of a sudden. Tigers have played 6 months of pretty good baseball or whatever it's been. They're in first place for a reason. They don't suck. Are they struggling right now? Yes. Are they tight right now? Yes. Are they gripping the bats right now a little bit hard? Absolutely they are. You could see it. I saw it firsthand. I went to 2 of the 3 games. But we react so quickly and we overdo it. I want to watch this game Monday night. I think the Lions can win. I do. I think they got some good confidence going in there. Baltimore in tight games. There's going to be some uneasiness in that arena, in that stadium Monday night if it's close, because the Ravens have lost big games. Now, are they as talented a team as the Lions are going to see this year? They might be. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson together? That's almost unfair. Zay Flowers is coming into his own. Mark Andrews is damn good. The other tight end, likely. They got guys that can play. So, and their defense is good. Roquan Smith, come on. Guys as good a linebacker as there is. So that and their secondary, Kyle Hamilton, number 1 safety in the league, according to PFF. So it's not gonna be easy. But if the Lions play a good football game and just get beat or it's a bad, I'm not gonna go nuts Monday night. Now, if the Lions drop another, lay another egg or throw 4 interceptions or can't block and can't tackle, yeah, of course we'll get on them. But it doesn't mean the sky is falling. Schedule's tough, man. We knew there were going to be losses this year. But I think I like the Lions' chances on Monday night. I do. All right, we are with you Monday night, right after the game. Thanks for making us your first listen, being with us all week right here on Locked On Lions. If you missed the crossover yesterday with Locked On Ravens host Kevin Ostreicher and me, please check it out.